If you were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and were grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these, which shall be the natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree? Say what? 11:24, Romans 11:24. For if you were cut out of the olive tree, cut out? You were cut out of the olive tree? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let's get into the scriptures. Okay, we're going to start at Romans 11. And you know that it's been said that Paul, I think it was Peter who said that Paul's writings was hard to understand because Paul was always talking from the scriptures in the scroll, the Old Testament, because the New Testament was not written. So we're going to start at Romans 11 and get some understanding, and then we're going to go back and point out some things. Romans 11 and 1. I say then, has Elohim rejected his people? Let it not be. For I also am an Israelite, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. Elohim has not rejected his people, whom he knew beforehand. Or do you not know what the scripture says of Elijah? How he pleads with Yahuwah against Yasharel, saying, Yahuwah, they have killed your prophets and overthrown your altars, and I alone am left, and they seek my life. But what does the answer of Yahuwah say to him? He says this, I have left for myself 7,000 men who have not bowed to the knee of Baal. So therefore also at this present time, a remnant according to the choice of grace, according to the choice of favor has come to be. And if by grace, it is no longer of works. Otherwise, grace is no longer grace. And if it is of works, it is no longer longer grace. Otherwise, work is no longer work. What then? Israel has not obtained what it seeks. Repeat that. Israel has not obtained what it seeks, but the chosen obtain it, and the rest were hardened. The chosen. Mm. As it has been written, Yahuwah has given them a spirit of deep sleep, eyes not to see, and ears not to hear unto this day. That David also says, let their table become for a snare and for a trap and for a stumbling block and a recompense to them. Let their eyes be darkened, not to see, and bow down their backs always. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? Let it not be. But by their fall, deliverance has come to the Gentiles to provoke them to jealousies. To provoke who to jealousy? Judah. And if their fall is riches for the world, and their failure riches for the Gentiles, how much more their completeness? For I speak to you, the Gentiles, inasmuch as I am an apostle to the Gentiles, I esteem my service. If somehow I might provoke to jealousy my own flesh and save some of them, who's his own flesh? Benjamin, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the southern tribe. For if their casting away is the restoration to the favor of the world, what world? What world? For Yahusha came into the world. Which world? Was it salvation? Which world? Which was it the whole world? Really? Let me continue. For if their casting away is the restoration to grace, to favor of the world, what is their acceptance but life from the dead? Now, if the first fruit is holy, the lump is also. And if the root is holy, so are the branches. What root? Think about it. The root of Jesse. What did Hamashiach come from? Hmm. And if some of the branches were broken off, listen to this. And if some of the branches were broken off, some of which branches? From Judah. Some branches were broken off. That's why they're there now. And you who? The Gentiles, being a wild olive tree, have been grafted in among them and came to share the root and fatness of the olive tree. Do not boast against the branches. And if you boast, you do not bear the root. But the root you. We're going to get a little deeper into this. You shall say then, the branches were broken off that I might be grafted in. Who was broken off? Some of the branches of Judah and some of the branches of Yasharel, because some of them were among Judah at this time in the southern kingdom. They had gravitated to them. I'm not talking about the dispersed up in Assyria. Good. By unbelief, they were broken off, and you stand by faith. Do not be arrogant, but revere. For if the Most High, Elohim, did not spare the natural branches, he might not spare you either. See then the kindness and sharpness of Elohim on those who fell sharpness, but towards you kindness, if you continue in kindness. Otherwise, you shall also be cut off. And they also, if they do not continue in faith, shall be grafted in. For the Most High is able to graft them in again. And then verse 24, he continues. For if you were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, what did he say? For if you were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, so the Gentiles was cut out of the olive tree? Really? That's what it says. For if you were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and were grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these who are the natural branches be grafted into their own olive tree? What natural branch? The one that Yahushua Mashiach came out of? That one. Keep that in your mind. For I do not want you to be ignorant of this secret, brothers. Who? Brothers? Oh, the Gentiles are brothers? They're brothers? That's what he said. He said, lest you should be wise in your own estimation, that hardening in part has come over Yasharel until the completeness of the Gentiles has come in, until the fullness of the Gentiles come in. What Gentiles? You really think he's talking about the pagan nation Gentiles? No, we always thought that. That was a lie. That was just a wrong thought. I'm going to repeat that again. Number 25. For I do not want you to be ignorant of this secret, brothers, lest you should be wise in your own estimation, that hardening in part has come over Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles has come in. The fullness of his people, the rest of his people, the rest of whom he completely had cast away, who he had divorced, put it that way. And so all of Yasharel, for this reason, and so all of Yasharel shall be saved. When he say all, now he means both kingdoms, the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. And so all Yasharel shall be saved, as it has been written, the deliverer shall come out of Zion. Who's the deliverer? Yahushua HaMashiach. And he shall turn away wickedness from Yaakov, Israel, the entire kingdom, the two sticks. And this is my covenant with them when I take away their sins. Oh, so Yahushua was taking away whose sins? Whose sins is he taking away? All of Yasharel, both southern kingdom and northern kingdom. Truly, regarding the good news, enemies for your sake, but concerning the choice, beloved for the sake of the fathers. For the gifts and the calling of Elohim are not to be repented of. For as you also, for as you also at one time disobeyed Elohim. Who is he talking about? The pagan nations? The pagan nations? He said, for as you also, Gentiles, at one time disobeyed Elohim. When did the Gentiles disobey Elohim? When? When did he give them commandments? When? Were they there with Moses and what have you? No. It was the entire kingdom of Yasharel. And he said, for as you also at one time disobeyed Elohim. You have to have the context. Who is he talking to? Who is he talking to? But now you have obtained compassion through their disobedience now. The Most High not bringing them, brought them back. He had compassion on them through the disobedience of the southern kingdom and those who else that was broken off at the time. Let's continue. So also these have now disobeyed. So now Judah disobeyed. They did. That through the compassion shown you, they also might obtain compassion. For Elohim has shut them all up to disobedience. Everybody, he has, in order to have compassion on all. On the depths of riches and wisdom and knowledge of Elohim. How unsearchable his judgments are and untraceable his ways. For who has known the mind of Yahuwah? Or who has become his counselor? Or who first gave to him, and it shall be given back to him? Because of him, and through him, and to him are all, to whom be esteemed forever. Hallelujah. Okay, okay, now we're going to get some understanding on the olive trees. We're going to get some understandings on the olive tree. Make sure you go to Isaiah 5, chapter 5 and 1. And I read, starting at Isaiah 5, verse 1. Now will I sing to my well-beloved, a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved had a vineyard in a very fruitful hill. And he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof and planted it with the choicest of vine. Who is this talking? The Most High. This is what he did. This is what he did. And he fenced it and he gathered out the stones thereof and he planted it with the choicest vine and built a tower in the midst of it and also made a wine press therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, who betwixt me and my vineyard? What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth fruits, that it shall bring forth grapes, it brought it forth wild grapes. And now, go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. Who is this? Who we are the plantings of the Most High. His people is. His people is. So he went and he planted a vineyard, and he planted the vineyard in the with the most choicest vine, the best of place. The bestest place is what he said. And then when he went and he looked at it, he saw forth that it brought grapes, but it also brought forth some wild grapes, some that was wild. And he was asking, "Oh, inhabitants of Jerusalem, men of Judah, judge, I pray you, what happened to my vineyard? What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it?" This is what he said. I'm paraphrasing. He said, "Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, it brought forth wild grapes." And now go to. I will tell you now what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, the protection, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down, and I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it. For the vineyard of the Most High of hosts is the house of Yasharel and the men of Judah, his pleasant plant. Uh-oh. And he looked for judgment, but behold, oppression, for righteousness, but behold, a cry. Let me read Isaiah 5 and 7 again. For the vineyard of the Most High of hosts is the house of Yasharel, and the men of Judah is his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold, oppression, for righteousness, but behold, a cry. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, now go to Jeremiah chapter 11, starting at verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Most High, saying, Hear ye the words of this covenant, and speak unto the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and say thou unto them, Thus said the Most High Elohim of Yasharel, Cursed be the man that obeyeth not the words of this covenant, which I commanded your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt from the iron furnace, saying, Obey my voice and do them according to all which I command you. So shall you be my people, and I will be your Elohim, that I may perform the oath which I have sworn unto your fathers, to give them a land flowing with milk and honey, as it is this day. Then answered I and said, So be it, Most High. Then the Most High said unto me, this is Jeremiah speaking, Proclaim all these words in the cities where of Judah and in the cities where of Jerusalem, saying, Hear ye the words of this covenant and do them. Mind you now, the northern kingdom was long dispersed in Assyria a couple of hundred years before this was written. For I earnestly protested unto your fathers in the day that I brought them up out of the land of Egypt, even until this day, rising early and protesting, saying, Obey my voice. Yet they obeyed not, nor inclined their ear, but walked every one in the imagination of their evil heart. Therefore, I will bring upon them all the words of this covenant, which I commanded them to do, but they did them not. And the Most High said unto me, A conspiracy is found among the men of Judah and among the inhabitants of Jerusalem. They are turned back to the iniquities of their forefathers, which refused to hear my words. And they went after other gods to serve them. The house of Yasharel and now the house of Judah have broken my covenant, which I made with their fathers. Therefore, thus said Yahuwah, Behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them. I will not listen unto them. Then shall the cities of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem go and cry unto the gods unto whom they offer incense, but they shall not save them at all in the time of their trouble. For according to the number of thy cities were thy guards, O Judah, and according to the number of the streets of Jerusalem, have you set up altars to that shameful thing, even altars to burn incense unto Baal. Therefore, pray not thou for this people, Jeremiah, neither lift up a cry or a prayer for them, for I will not hear them in the time that they cry unto me for their trouble. What had my beloved to do in my house? His beloved, he said, seeing she had wrought lewdness with many, and the holy flesh is passed from thee. And thou doest evil, then, and when thou do evil, then you rejoice. You rejoice in doing evil, is what he was saying. And Yahuwah called thy name a green olive tree. Oh my goodness. Read that again. Jeremiah 11:16. The Most High called thy name a green olive tree. Who is he talking to? Judah. A fair and of goodly fruit, with the noise of a great tumult. Let me back up. He was talking to, he said both. Both. Let me correct myself. When he said a green olive tree, the green olive tree was one time was the whole kingdom. We were just one kingdom. So I stand corrected. And the Most High called thy name, a green olive tree, fair and of goodly fruit, with the noise of oh my goodness, and with the noise of a great tumult, he had kindled fire upon it, and the branches of it are broken, and the branches of it are broken. His goodly green olive tree that he loved, his beloved. For the Most High of hosts that planted thee has pronounced evil against thee. For the evil of the house of Yasharel and of the house of Judah, which they have done against themselves, to provoke me to anger and offering incense unto Baal. Oh my goodness. Okay, Jeremiah 2 and 19. Let's start there. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 19. Thine own wickedness, he's talking about his people. Thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and your backslidings shall reprove thee. Know therefore, and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that you have forsaken Yahuwah, your Elohim, and that my fear is not in you, said the Most High of hosts. For of old time I have broken your yoke, and I burst your bands, and you said that you would not transgress. When upon every high hill and under every green tree you wonders, you playing the harlot. Yet I had planted thee into a noble vine. He said, I had planted you into a noble vine, holy, a right seed. How then art thou now turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? For though you wash yourself with nitre and take thee much soap, yet your iniquity is marked before me, said the Most High Yahuwah. Okay. Now let's see why the Most High allowed Judah, the southern kingdom, to come back to the land. From the time when they was exiled in Babylon and Persia in Persia for 70 years. Why was they allowed to come back to the land and the northern kingdom was not? So let's find out. Let's go to Second Chronicles chapter 21 and verse 7. We'll start at that one. Howbeit the Most High would not destroy the house of David because of the covenant that he had made with David. And as he promised to give a light to him and to his sons forever, a light, a light, a light. Remember that, a light to him. Remember that. Now, let's go to 2 Kings chapter 8, starting at verse 17. 32 years old when he was began to reign, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. Who was talking about? He was talking about Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, who was the king of Judah. And he walked in the way of the kings of Israel in idolatry and all that. He did the same thing, as did the house of Ahab. For the daughter of Ahab was his wife, and he did in the sight of in the sight of the Most High. So Ahab was his wife. For the daughter of Ahab was his wife. And remember who she was. Remember who she was now. Okay, Jezebel. Yet the Most High would not destroy Judah for David, his servant's sake, as he promised him to give him away a light and to his children. Let me repeat that. This is 2 Kings 8 and 19. Yet the Most High would not destroy Judah for David, his servant's sake, as he promised him to give him always a light, and to his children. You hear that? And to his children. Okay, now let's go a little deeper into about these two olive trees. And we're going to land up going into um, the grafting in and all of that. Go to Zechariah chapter 4, starting at verse 1. This is about the golden lampstand and the olive trees. And the angel that talked with me came again and waked me as a man that is wakened out of his sleep. This is Zechariah. And said unto me, what seest thou? And I said, I have looked, and behold, a candlestick all of gold, with a bowl upon the top of it, and his 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps which are upon the top thereof. And 2 olive trees are by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and on the other side upon the left side. So I answered and spake to the angel that talked with me, saying, what are these, my Lord? Then the angel that talked with me answered and said unto me, you don't know what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. And he answered and spake unto me, saying, this is the word of what the Most High said unto Zerubbabel, saying, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, said Yahuwah of hosts. Who art thou, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel, thou shalt become a plain, and he shall become forth the headstone, thereof with shoutings and crying, and grace upon it. Moreover, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, the hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house. His hands shall also finish it. And thou shalt know that Yahuwah of hosts has sent me unto you. For who hath despised the day of small things? For they shall rejoice and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7. They are the eyes of Yahuwah, which run to and fro from the whole earth. Then answered I and said unto him, well, what are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick and upon the left side thereof? And I answered again and said unto him, because the angel hadn't answered him, what be these 2 olive branches, which through the 2 golden pipes emptied the golden oil out of themselves? And he answered me and said, you know it's not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Then he said, these are the 2 anointed ones that stand by the Most High of the whole earth. Okay? Now, where did that come from? Where did that come from? Go to Exodus 25 and 31. Exodus 35 and 25 and 31 about the golden. Where did all that come from? Came from back in Moses' time. That's where. And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold, of beaten work shall the candlestick be made. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knops, his flowers shall be of the same. And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it. 3 branches of the candlestick out of the one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side. The 3 bowls made like unto almonds, with a knop and a flower in one branch, and 3 bowls made like almonds in the other branch, with a knop and a flower. So in the 6 branches they come out of the candlesticks. So anyway, this is where it goes. He said, and there shall be a knop under the 2 branches of the same. And he talks about, and the knop under the 2 branches of the same. And he goes on and talks about the branches thereof. Okay. That's where that came from. Let's continue. Now let's go to Leviticus chapter 24 and just a couple of verses. Leviticus chapter 24. And the Most High spake, and the Most High spake, and the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Yasharel that they bring unto thee pure olive oil, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually. Catch this, family. Command the children of Yasharel. This is back in Moses' time. This is where it came from. Command, and this is a command. Command the children of Yasharel that they bring unto thee pure olive oil, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually. I hope you're getting it. I hope you're getting it. Now let's go to Revelations chapter 11, verses 3 and 4. And starting at verse 3, and I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the Most High of the earth. Whether we read that at before, family, where, where, where? When he said that Yasharel was the olive trees. Yasharel was the olive tree before they split. Then they became two olive trees. Two olive trees. Let's continue. Now, when you read Romans 11, it is clear that who was broken off was the Jews, Judah. They were broken off. And by them being broken off, how were they broken off? Not all of Judah was broken off. It wasn't. Only the Hellenized Jews were broken off. The northern kingdom were broken off a long time ago before this. That's why they became to be two olive trees. Judah was broken off, not all of Judah. And they also, when they became the Hellenized Jews. And you can read that story in First Maccabees. In First Maccabees, I would say in the first chapter of First Maccabees, up through to 1 through 43, you can read the story on how the Jews how a lot of the Jews of Judah became Hellenized, and they stopped circumcising their children. They stopped doing that, and they went into paganism. With the land. With the land. With the pagans. You know what I'm saying? And so they were broken off. But as we read earlier, that the Most High, just like He had a remnant, and um, He told the prophet before, who wanted to just have Israel just to be destroyed. He said, no. He said, I have 7,000 who has not bowed to Baal. He said, even today He has a select. So was Judah. There was some Judah that did not bow. They continued to obey the commands of the Most High. But the Hellenized Jews did not. Okay, they were the one who were broken out, for the Gentiles can come in. Who was the Gentiles? The rest of the northern kingdom. That's who it was. The northern kingdom. They were the wild branch. They were the wild olive tree. We read about it already. I already just read it. Just rewind this and read it and listen to this again with your Bibles and see it for yourself. See it for yourself. So, um, so, um, so I'm going to read to just end it to end it. I'm going to read now Romans 11 again. And hopefully now you can see now what Paul was talking about. Because Paul was teaching them and was talking to them based upon the Torah, things that happened in the Old Testament. Okay. Now, I'm going to start at 1. I'm going to read it quickly. I say then, has Yah cast away his people? Yah forbid. For I also am an Israelite, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. Yahuwah has not cast away his people, whom he foreknew. Would you not what the scriptures, do you not know what the scriptures said of Elias? Which was Elijah, how he made intercession to Yahuwah against Yasharel, saying, yeah, they have killed your prophets, and they have digged down your altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. But what was the answer of Yahuwah unto him? He said, I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Who is he talking about? He's talking about Judah. He said, out of Judah did not bow, did not fall, did not. Some was broken off. Yes. That's why he said in Romans 11:5, even so then, even at this present time, also there is a remnant according to the election of grace. There's a remnant. There's a remnant of Judah and also to some of the northern kingdom, because some of the northern kingdom did join Judah. They did join Judah. Okay. And if by grace, then it is of no more of works. Otherwise, grace is no more grace, but it is be of works. Then is it no more grace? Otherwise, work is no more work. What then? What then? I just lost my spot. Yasharel had not obtained that which he seeked for. What then? Israel had not obtained that which he seeketh for. But the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Who was the election? Judah. And everybody else was blinded. Judah. Only the ones of Judah who did not bow. And David said, and according to it is written, the Most High had given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they could not see, and ears that they should not hear until this day. And David said, let their table be a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. Let their eyes be darkened that they may not see, and bow down their back away and their back always. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? Yah forbid. But rather through their fall, who fall? Judah. Salvation is coming to the Gentiles. What Gentiles? The Hellenized Jews and the rest of the 10 tribes, for to provoke them to jealousy. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, the fall of who? Judah be the riches of the world. Wasn't Judah to this day the riches of the world? Slavery. I mean, we can look down in history. And the diminishing of them, the riches of the Gentiles. What Gentiles? The northern kingdom. How much more their fullness? He said, for I speak to you Gentiles, inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles. I magnify my office. If by any ways that I may provoke to immolation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them. For if the casting away of them be the reconciliation of the world, what world? The world of Yasharel, the northern and the southern kingdom, reconciling them back. What shall the receiving of them be but life from the dead? For if the first fruit be holy, who is the first fruit? Judah. The lump is also holy. And if the roof be holy, so are the branches. And if some of the branches be broken off, who was broken out? Some of the branches of Judah, the Hellenized Jews, and those who probably was joined to Judah for a while, the nation, the nations of Yasharel, who was still in the land. Being a wild tree, you were grafted in among them, and with them partakers of the root and fatness of the olive tree. Let me read that part again. Romans 11:17. And if some of the branches be broken off, and you who? The northern kingdom, being a wild olive tree. We read about that. We read about what the Most High said. We know who's the. He said, what happened to my planting? Why are some of them, a degenerate vine? And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou, being a wild olive tree, were grafted in among them, and with them partake of the root and the fatness of the olive tree, then don't be boast against the branches. But if you boast, you bearest not the root, but the root bear thee. Judah bear thee. They bear thee. This was a promise. A promise. The root of Jesse. This was the promise. Well, because of unbelief, they were broken off. And you stand by faith. But be not high-minded, but fear. For if Yah spared not the natural branches, take heed lest he also not spare you either. Behold, therefore, the goodness and severity of Yah. On them which fail, severity. But towards you, goodness, if you continue in his goodness. Otherwise, you also gonna be cut off. In other words, again. And they also, if they abide not still in unbelief, if they abide, then they shall be grafted in. For the Most High is able to graft them back in again. Graft who back in again? The Hellenized Jews, them, graft them right back in. For if you were cut out, but if you were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, it's talking to the Gentiles now. Which the Gentiles? The northern kingdom. They said that if you were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, they became wild by nature. And you were grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree because they had a sinful nature. They had a sinful nature, but they was grafted back into a good olive tree because they once was part of the green olive tree. How much more shall these, which be the natural branches, be grafted back into their own olive tree? For I would not, brethren, he's talking to his brothers, that you should not be ignorant of this mystery, lest you should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part has happened to Israel until the fullness of the rest of the Gentiles we come in. What's the Gentiles? The rest of the nations of Yasharel, the rest of the 10 tribes, them. And so then all of Israel shall be saved, because that was the promise from Yah. As it is written, he said, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall put away ungodliness from Jacob. For he said, for this is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sin. This because read it. Go back in the Old Testament, Genesis, all the way up to Malachi, and see the sin that was happening. And he came and took away that sin. It's the nation, Yasharel, the whole kingdom. The whole kingdom he wants to bring back again. I see it. Don't do y'all? As concerning the gospel, they are enemies for your sake, but as touching the election, they are beloved for the Father's sake. For the gifts and calling of Yah are without repentance. For as you in times past have not believed Yah, who's you? Who he talking to? The Gentiles, the northern kingdom, and them, and also too the Hellenized Jews. As you in times past have not believed in Yah, yet you have now obtained mercy through their unbelief. Even so, have these also now not believed? They don't believe. So they don't believe now, and now y'all do. So that through your mercy, they also may attain mercy. That's what he's saying. Now they don't believe. A lot of them fell off. He says, so now you think I'm not gonna have mercy on them? I had mercy on you when you didn't believe. That's what Yah is saying. For Yah had concluded all of them in unbelief, that he would have mercy upon all. So he concluded both kingdoms were in unbelief, so that he may have mercy on all of them. upon all of them. Oh, the depth of the riches of the wisdom and the knowledge of Yahuwah. How unsearchable are his judgments and his ways past finding out. For who hath known the mind of Yahuwah, or who has seen his counselor, or who hath first given to him, and it shall not be recompensed unto him again? And of him, and through him, and to him are all things, to whom be glory forever. Now, family, what I want you to do now is go to 59. Go to Isaiah 59 and 20. Go to Isaiah 59 and 20. And it states, and it reads, and the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgressions in Jacob, saith the Most High. As for me, this is my covenant with them, said Yahuwah. My spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I have put in your mouth, shall not depart out of your mouth, nor out of the mouth of your seed, nor out of the mouth of your seed's seed, saith the Most High, from henceforth and forever. So, family, that's it. Come up with your own conclusion on who was the Gentiles that Paul was sent to. Who was it? Now you come up with your own conclusions. Now I know that what has to be addressed is that it seems like this is leaving out the other pagan nations whom whom have turned and cleaving unto to the Most High, who has made the Most High, their Elohim. Well, there's some stipulations in the scriptures, especially in the Old Testament, which I probably would do a reading on, that tells us how to treat them. How to treat them. However, they do not participate in the covenant. They're not. But there are stipulations on how to treat the foreigners and treat them, and they do get blessings. They do with blessings, but they do not get the promises that was promised to Abraham, to his seed, and to his seed. That's just a fact. But there are some stipulations and some blessings for the other nations that is outside of the nation of Yasharel. So until then, I hope this bless you. Peace and blessing, Israel.